Hi, Bashar.
And to you, good day. One moment.
Yes.
Are you all awake?
Yes.
Just checking. Please continue.
Thank you, first and foremost, for sharing this experience with us.
Thank you for sharing it with us as well. Remember, there are 227 million of my people listening in.
Is this thing on? Okay. Wow, okay.
No pressure.
No pressure. No. Got it.
But because we are all telepathically bonded and we know it, we all, to some degree, relevant to our individual lives, are picking up on what is going on in these interactions because these are the first steps of making contact with your world.
This is great. I gotta say, this is my highest excitement.
What is?
This
What
moment,
is?
Following where this moment's going, is I'm in it. I'm in it entirely.
All right.
I'm like jittery up here. But
Jittery.
yes. Anyway,
Yes.
I've been tuned into you through a friend like 2 months ago, and I've been listening basically every day, several hours. It's just amazing, the information.
All right.
And I'm now at the phase where I'm now applying this information.
Thank you.
And so, in following my highest excitement,
Yay.
I am basically eliminating, or well, maybe
Acting on what?
acting on every moment that excites me the most and leaving behind things that no longer fit my definition of what excitement is.
All right. And all of you make sure, because you know some of the beliefs that exist you within your upbringing will cause you to sometimes define something as not exciting that might be, or vice versa.
Right. I'm also
So be clear of your definitions before you let something go, because you may sometimes be letting go the very thing you actually need to do.
right. I'm also seeing those challenges or
Yes.
those things that I don't see as exciting as, well, redefining those as not blocks or not.
Yes, some of them are truly things that you may not prefer, but learn to know the difference between those things that are truly not your preference and things that you may simply be defining as not your preference because you may have a fear of going in that direction.
Absolutely. In fact, instead of looking at that as a fear, I see it as a curiosity now.
Yes,
which
thank
is-
you.
Yes. So, okay.
Yes.
With that, I've made some very what would be considered historically to be drastic changes in my lifestyle, which is basically to leave a job
All
behind
right.
that I don't like and go in
All
pursuit
right.
of things that I do like.
Yes. Now, as a reminder before you continue,
Right.
you all must also take a moment to honor whatever belief systems you do have within you, because it doesn't help you to jump off a cliff if you don't believe you have a parachute.
Ego negotiation. Absolutely.
Yes.
I've
Ego
actually,
negotiation.
Absolutely. That's
All right.
Yes, absolutely. That's helped me so much in listening to that dialogue that you had
All right.
sometime in the past.
Thank you for assuaging your ego.
Right. So my thing is
Because you have to jump altogether. You cannot exclude, in that sense, any part of yourself.
Right.
Growth is the product of inclusion, not exclusion.
right. Everyone
right.
goes together.
Everyone goes together, as you say on earth, no one is left behind.
Right. So
You
now,
may choose to leave things behind, but not a part of yourself is left behind.
okay. Absolutely. So
All right.
the span that you're talking about, 2010 to 2015,
Yes.
is quite clear for me because, in fact, the beginning, the day, January 1st, 2010, things really I became aware of things that were now going in motion towards self-expansion, awareness,
Yes.
growth, and
Expansion.
yes.
The span.
Right. So, I mean, where we find ourselves currently in this moment,
Yes.
and
Where do you find yourself?
where we, as a collective consciousness now, are moving towards, I guess.
Yes, you guess?
Yes.
You're guessing?
No, I'm not guessing.
Thank you.
No. how it relates to 2012, and
Yes.
I guess
The splitting prism.
the splitting prism, right? And once we cross that threshold,
Yes.
when you talk about, are you talking about like sort of a crystallization of a theme that will be quite clear and
To some.
So
to others it may not.
if I choose to live in fear,
Yes.
let's say I choose to deny my true self,
Which is the same thing as living in fear.
right? Absolutely. But if I were to go down that path,
Don't be redundant, he said again.
right? Would I then experience only a very, very difficult, murky reality that will reflect
Whatever
back to my
vibration you choose to lock onto after a certain point will continue to crystallize and reinforce itself until such time as you may find you are incapable of experiencing anything else.
as opposed to now, where we have the opportunity to essentially fluctuate between all these different sort of states of being?
You see, the issue is not that you won't have choice. The issue is that you will get to a point where you don't know anymore that you have choice.
So the mere fact that we are all here in this moment,
Yes, well, some of you are.
could it be said that you couldn't necessarily go back into the darkness?
It is highly improbable that
Okay.
you will.
Okay.
Nothing is impossible.
Right, right.
We deal in probabilities.
Okay.
So it is highly improbable that if we are having this conversation and you are present for it, it is highly improbable you will go all the way back into the darkness to the degree that you may have started from.
Right.
It doesn't mean, however, still at this point, because the decisions and choices are still up to you, that you will necessarily go as far forward as you may wish. Okay. It's still up to you to decide to let go of things that really have nothing to do with your frequency.
Okay.
Does that help?
Yes, absolutely, yeah, it does.
Does that address the situation you wished to discuss?
It does. I also had a question about people like Terence McKenna,
Yes.
who unraveled the I Ching and created something called the time wave zero,
Yes.
and the work of people who've done, the math on breaking down the mind calendar,
Yes.
and how it all sort of comes to this
Yes.
balance point. That is the threshold, and
The threshold crossing is an indication of a leading edge of your collective consciousness and a shift that you are going through in general, whereas after that point, the collective energy of your entire society will be slightly more positive than negative after that time.
until that time, are there any? I know that a prediction would be only the current
Sensing of the energy that
right,
exists
of
at the
what
moment.
exists now, but
Yes.
what are we looking forward to the next 2 years? Kind of, what's? I mean, what could we? I'm already seeing a decrease in questioning
More and
governmental
more
authority,
and more and more deconstruction of what doesn't work.
to the point.
More and more and more and more implementation of new systems to replace them, at first seemingly slowly, staying in the shadows, but eventually you will find that when the old systems begin to crumble, there will be new systems that will be there to take their place if, and only if, the people wish them to do so.
And at this current time, in the sensing, would you say that the people would go with that positivity? They will?
Well, you must understand that there is a caveat. The people that are going to go with it are the people that will go with it.
Okay, so, right.
The people that aren't, won't.
And what happens to them is they essentially live out that experience
On an earth, the parallel reality earth, that is vibrationally commensurate to the experience they believe they would have. And it will be literally a different earth than all the other earths.
and they will
There are
eventually-
already in existence, concurrently with yours, parallel reality earths that have already long since annihilated themselves, as you call it,
and have long since evolved to the point
and some that have long since evolved to what you would call a heaven on earth status. They
So we're all
all
gonna get-
exist
yeah, we're all
now.
gonna get
They
there.
all exist. It's up to you to decide, to experience the one that is most commensurate with the vibration of your preference.
So I never have to do anything that, I mean, once I confront everything as to the best of my
As soon as you
capabilities.
confront everything you chose to confront in this physical life, you will die.
Okay. All right.
Then you will move to another reality. Right. You will focus on the idea of your continued experience from there and decide what you wish to do at that point.
Okay.
Again, linearly speaking.
Right. This is awesome. I got my seat buckled. I'm on for the ride. This is awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello there. This is my first time seeing you, and I just...
This is our first time seeing you.
Yes.
What a coincidence. How often does that happen?
Rarely, and I'm really grateful to be here. In some ways, I feel like you already answered my question and spoke to it.
Well, then that means that in some ways you already answered it.
Right. I guess the biggest thing
Yes.
why I'm
What
here
is the biggest
wanted
thing?
to ask about is I've been dealing with a really serious health crisis.
Such as?
Just a lot of different things
Oh,
happening.
all right.
Yeah. And I guess maybe I'm at a choice point.
Yes.
I feel like I'm in a holding pattern. And
Oh, all right.
it's hard for me to move through this with grace and compassion and seeing it as an opportunity.
All right.
And it's really colored with fear.
All right.
So again, I don't really know what my question is.
Are you choosing to act on your highest joy as often as you could?
Probably not.
Probably not.
No.
Definitely not.
Yeah. Definitely not.
All right. And the question then becomes, why not? What is the fear in that may be manifesting itself as a dis-ease?
Right.
You can aid and assist yourself in a variety of physiological support system methodologies to give yourself some opportunity to ponder the idea energetically, which is what really needs to change in order for the physical reality to also reflect it. But the first question is to actually ask yourself what you are learning from the experience and what would you not have learned by not having this experience. But at the same time, you can perhaps detoxify your system if you haven't already done so, have you?
I have to some degree.
To some degree, all right. You may continue to do that, to aid and assist yourself in whatever way physiologically will give you the most opportunity to spend time to mentally, spiritually, emotionally, energetically ponder all of the other issues in the theme that you are exploring of unease.
Right.
But primarily, it will mostly come down to resisting your natural self. Because when you resist and reject your natural self, how can nature do anything but reject you? You follow? So, what is it you are resisting being? What is it you are resisting doing? And what is the fear in doing so? Well, do you have an answer?
No, I guess that's what I am exploring and asking.
Did you have a childhood dream that went by the wayside? Is there something in particular that you would love to be able to do? In other words, if you could do anything, if there were no conditions and no limitations on you, what would you be doing that you're not doing with your life? Well, name one thing.
Yeah, writing. Writing would be one.
So you're not doing that?
Not so much.
Why not? Do you love it?
I do.
Are you passionate about it?
I am.
Are you passionate about being passionate about it?
Yeah.
One moment. Are you passionate about it? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, in theory I am, I guess.
Oh, in theory. Well, time to put it into practice, don't you think?
Yeah.
So when will you and why don't you?
Yeah, I mean, maybe this whole
Maybe.
health thing is...
What do you want to write about? What do you want to write?
I don't know.
If you're a writer, write. Writers write. What are you afraid of? Rejection? Goes with the territory. So what? Who cares? Do you need to learn the sacred mantra? So what? Big deal.
Yeah.
What is stopping you from being a writer?
I don't know.
Oh, yes, you do.
Well, right now, all this health stuff and
No.
fatigue.
Are you honestly telling me that you cannot sit down and write because of your health?
No, I can.
Thank you for being honest. Then if you can write, even in your present condition, write. Why don't you write about your condition? Can you do that?
I can.
Do you think that that might reveal some interesting things to you?
Absolutely.
Will you do that?
Sure. Yes.
Passionately?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, Bashar.
And to you, good day.
Got it. Okay, I've been realigned. So, two questions, one theme. I want to get your perspective on. I've seen two camps in channelers, in spiritual type people, where there's sort
Spiritual type
of
people.
yes, those folks.
You are all spirits.
Yeah, but all right. So the question is, all right. There's sort of two perspectives of this transition where
Yes.
the 2012 thing. One is mass landings, sudden shifts. You know, it's coming quick.
Yes.
Get ready, that sort of thing. And the other one is, you know, we're going to go through a many-decade transition where we create the Earth as.
You are going through a many-decade transition right now.
But I sort of get.
That's just the fulcrum point.
What is the fulcrum point?
2012.
Oh, I see. Okay. So what are the people that are channeling and perceiving that this is going to come in a massive type?
Because they are perceiving a massive change overall and interpreting it in physical terms in a more immediate way. But it is not impossible for certain things to happen. Again, we deal in probabilities.
Yeah.
The idea of the 2012 demarcation is not only the idea that you will finally tip the scale to slightly more collective positive energy on the planet than negative. It is also the end of what has been euphemistically referred to as the quarantine of your world.
Yeah, okay.
So while it is totally possible that all of our ships could land the very next day, it is highly unlikely because you're not ready.
Right.
The idea, however, is that after that date, our, for lack of a better term, laws will not prevent us from landing.
I see.
We will take our cue from that point forward totally from when you all actually demonstrate that you are ready for open contact. Nothing will hold us back anymore. You understand?
Yes.
So the degree to which you are willing to integrate more and more and more of your own consciousness is our barometer for when you are ready to be exposed to energy that is all about integration.
Okay. And surely there are pockets of people that are more ready than others who will experience it first?
There are, in that sense, those who may be, as you say, a little ahead of the curve. But overall, moving as a bubble reality together, open contact will take place generally within a certain time window for you all, even though there may be precursors on an individual basis here and there on your planet. And I remind you, there has already been contact here and there, but you don't remember. The rate at which you remember in conscious awakening states or in dreams, the rate at which you start to actually remember snippets of the contacts many of you have already had is also a barometer for us to gauge when you are ready for more open contact.
So I'm going to wake up one morning and realize that
You might remember a snippet or a dream of what feels like a very real contact. That will be an indication that a piece of the memory of the contact has surfaced into your consciousness. Another puzzle piece has locked into place in the big picture.
Okay. So
And the more those puzzle pieces lock and the bigger the picture starts to reveal itself, the more we know that the whole world is ready at a time and place that is appropriate for the benefit of all concerned.
Got it.
Does that make sense?
That does. And that leads me to my second part of this question is,
Yes.
as we transform through this time, it is my excitement to create the new economy as the old one is collapsing.
You go right ahead.
And so that's following that line. I guess
Yes.
I use the internet as a tool for that. I see that as a very powerful tool.
Yes.
And in creating and connecting people in ways that was never possible before.
Yes.
Do you have any perspective or any advice that might?
Everything that you create with respect to the idea of the world you prefer, do it with not only your excitement, but with humility, integrity, and no expectation.
Got it.
Does that help?
Perfect.
That's the entire formula.
For any application, huh? For any situation.
Yes.
Got it.
In
Thank
an
you.
attitude of gratitude.
All right.
All right?
Well then, thank you.
Thank you. Remember, you're talking about the idea in your colloquial language of a win-win situation. No one needs to lose. There is enough for all.
Hello, Bashar.
And to you, good day,
My name is Deanna.
if you insist.
It is. I insist. I'm very interested in the Oversoul, and I have a couple of questions.
All right,
on that.
one moment. Speak up and be bold so that all may hear what you have to share.
I'm sorry, I didn't realize I wasn't. Thank you. The Oversoul.
Yes.
So tell me, if I'm here on planet Earth and there are millions of other souls in my Oversoul,
Yes.
where you come from, would I have some of your people in my Oversoul?
Yes.
Cool.
Most of you do, or we probably wouldn't be having this conversation.
Uh-huh. Okay.
Because like vibration to like vibration.
Okay, got it. But then in my Oversoul as well, am I going to have some, for lack of, to stay out of political words, would I have any terrorists in my group?
It's highly probable. I'm not saying it's absolute, I'm just giving you probabilities. Because again, remember, I told you already that concurrent lives don't necessarily have to be friends.
Yes.
They can actually be enemies.
I remember you're saying that. So for me as an individual, do I take the advice you gave just the young man that just left, in that the way I can help those people in my pod? Oh, I don't know why I used the word pod, but
I do.
okay, the people in my pod.
Because there are also dolphins in your oversoul.
Oh, good. Okay, so the people in my pod who are not perhaps quite at the same level that some of us are, I can lift them up only by my own integrity. What else can I do?
By your living example of unconditional support and love, offering them an opportunity for another path, but with no insistence that they must take it.
Okay, good. All right. What
Teaching again what we talked about, as you say before, in the difference between true power and disempowerment. Because those that force themselves on others are acting out of a sense of disconnection and disempowerment. Even though they may think that what they do illustrates power, it is exactly the opposite. Because if you truly, truly believe in the power of something, you don't have to force it on anyone. When you force something on someone else, all you're trying to do is convince yourself.
Right. One other quick question.
Yes.
There are children being born in the world now that people are saying are calling them indigo children or crystal
Yes,
children.
a new
amethyst children.
species.
Yes, please, can you tell us more about that?
They are vibrationally those that have passed through certain vibrational gates that will allow them to remember more of who they are. And physiologically, they will exhibit more of the idea of altered DNA and altered genetics that will allow them to function as antennas for higher frequency energies and to express the idea of creative talents much earlier in life.
And is that how we recognize them? Because they are...
Generally speaking, although you will not necessarily be capable of recognizing all of them. It has a lot to do with whatever theme they have chosen to explore and whatever service they have chosen to be of on your planet as to when and where you may recognize them.
And so many young children are being diagnosed with something called ADHD or autism now.
Yes.
Is that part of this?
It is, to some degree, because it is an opportunity for you to learn something new about the whole idea of the brain and consciousness and the thought process and awareness, and to change the structure and nature of how you look at physical reality and how you look at consciousness. They are your learning curves.
Thank you very much. You've answered everything beautifully. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. Our appreciation to you as well.
Good moment, Bashar.
And are you good day?
It was about probably 5 years ago when you first found me and showed me how important it was to pay attention to my definitions.
All right.
And
have you?
I have.
Thank you.
And you've also reminded me how important it is to...
Speak up and be bold so that all may hear.
You reminded me how important it is to remember that circumstances don't matter. Only the
Yes.
state of being matters.
Yes.
And so I am a testament for everybody else who's here that it's a few years later now and my situation has improved tenfold after
All right.
learning to not resist the wave of this moment and just
Yes.
ride it and let it be. And
Thank you.
trust that following the excitement is the most important part.
Thank you for being more of your natural self.
So thank you for reminding me what I already knew.
It is our pleasure to remind you of what you already know.
So my question, Bashar,
Yes.
I have a couple recurring dreams,
Yes.
only a couple of which I usually remember. One is a flying dream, and the
Yes.
other is a death dreams. I
Yes.
actually feel like I have experienced death multiple times.
Yes, all of
And
you have.
I've actually been fortunate enough to have a near-death experience
Oh, all
and
right.
also an out-of-body experience at
Was
the
it
same
fun?
time. It was very eye-opening and had certainly changed my life for the
All right.
better.
Thank you for your boldness.
So with the death dreams, they're more intriguing than they are frightening. I don't really have nightmares, but I'm curious why they keep happening since I'm okay with it, and I don't feel like I have anything to push through or become okay with to push past that.
But there is still information there for you to learn and absorb and integrate.
Correct. So why do they keep happening, I guess?
Because there is still information there for you to learn and absorb and integrate.
Got it. I guess the second question then would be, I love clues and surprises. Would there be anything that you or the Essassani people would have for me to chew on over the next 6 to 12 months?
Are you traveling?
Always?
Where?
Everywhere?
Literally, physically, on your planet, where?
Sedona today.
Yes, thank
Since
you.
I
We
don't
know
live-
that one. Usually when the question, are you traveling, is asked, we mean from where you are to somewhere else.
California.
Why?
Friends.
When?
In the next 60 to 90 days.
Oh, all right. And what will you do there?
I don't know. I'll live in the moment. I'm not sure what will
But you are visiting your friends.
happen. Yes.
And how long will you be there?
Less than a week, but more than 2 days.
Less than a week, but more than 2 days. Is that what the travel brochure said? Come to California, less than a week, but more than 2 days. Do you find anything in that area on your planet exciting?
The water
The water
and the sand.
and the sand. Doesn't that make mud?
And beach.
And the beach. All right. One moment. One moment. One moment. We will give you a phrase that exists on your planet. We are not allowed to explain it, but you will know what it means when it happens. All right?
Got it.
Susie Q.
Thank you, Bashar.
Thank you.
Good evening.
And to you, good day.
Thanks for the invitation.
And you as well.
You've been in my space, I guess, for about 20 years, but I know very little about you
Oh, all right.
personally.
What would
but
you
I
like
did
to
go,
know?
I went on the internet, and I loved the way you expressed that you're a reflection of us rather than a teacher, and I really love that. So basically, today has been more of a confirmation and a
All right.
validation for me, and I just wanted to come up and express that.
Thank you.
And I've been very much a hermit most of my experience here for 35 years in Sedona.
Yay.
So just being here is different for me.
Oh,
And
thank you for coming out of your hermit crab shell.
Yes. And for somebody that's basically very shy, this is very
Oh,
exciting.
nonsense.
This is very exciting for me to be up in front of everybody
Thank you.
and having the courage to do that.
Thank you.
So putting my name in a basket
Yes.
and being picked
Yes.
was a very exciting experience.
Thank you for your synchronicity.
So I don't have.
You do not need a question.
Oh, I
In
don't-
fact, the secret is that the more statements all of you make, the more we can actually tell you.
yes. So I'm going to be quiet then.
Thank
and
you.
let you speak to me.
Well, make a statement, as you have already made.
I'm noticing,
Yes.
and because I love spending time in my garden.
Yes.
And I've invited the devas and the elementals to really share with me.
Yes.
You know, in this past summer.
Yes.
And so I've experienced this reflection
Yes.
a lot.
Yes.
And
Is it fun?
it very much is. And it is also very awesome to me, too. It's almost too big sometimes to embrace.
But not
All of
really.
this- Excuse me?
But not really.
No, not really, because they let me kind of chunk it down a
Exactly.
little bit, too. So, yeah, so...
Well, thank you for allowing the elementals to reflect to you also the elements that make you up.
It's like I wanted the harmony
Yes.
of my own elementals to embrace the harmony of nature's elementals. So
What is your favorite flower?
it goes back and forth between the rose and the morning glory.
One moment. One moment. One moment. How do you feel about hyacinth?
I haven't planted any ever, so... that
Would
be
you
a-
like to take an adventure in a new direction?
Well, of course, yes.
Then familiarize yourself with the hyacinth and see where it takes you and who it takes you to. All right?
Yes, thank you.
Thank the elementals. The message comes from them.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And have a good evening.
Hello, Bashar.
And a you good day.
Thank you for all the years of teachings that you've passed on. It's been wonderful.
We thank you for allowing us to reflect what you know.
My first question is about ascended masters.
Yes.
And where they may fall under the oversoul and under the oversoul glove. Where do they go once they've ascended?
In the way that most humans mean the idea of ascended masters, is that they are the idea of a reflection of the collective consciousness of your planet. So in that sense, they are a reflection of a group soul, a collective consciousness. In that sense, to some degree, they are a reflection, therefore, of the combination of all the oversouls that make up all the individuals on your planet, but reflected on a level that is relevant and perceivable to your level of perception. Does that make sense in your language?
Yeah, I might have to chew on it a little bit.
All right. Sometimes these concepts do not necessarily readily translate into your language.
Okay, thank you for that. I have one more question.
Yes.
I've seen some people ask you before whether or not that they have children,
Hybrid children.
hybrid children.
Yes.
And I'm curious if I do.
Yes.
I do.
Yes.
I thought so.
Then why did you ask?
Because I just want, I wanted confirmation. And do I have a lot?
27.
I have 27, and what kind of percentage of me is in them?
When we label the idea and present it to you that they are reflective of being your hybrid children, it usually means that they have at least 20% of your genetic material.
Okay.
Below that, we simply do not count.
Okay.
It is too dilute.
Okay. And do I have lifetimes on other planets right now?
You don't, but there are lifetimes from the oversoul you are connected to that coexist concurrently with you.
Okay. Okay.
All of you do. All of you do.
Great.
Thank
Okay,
you.
that's it. Thank you very much.
Hi, Bashar.
And to you, good day.
Good day. This is a pleasure. It's been many years since I've, person to person,
Oh, all right.
so to speak.
So to speak.
So to speak.
We
So-
are speaking over the biological telephone.
Yes, yes, yes. So many years ago, maybe 20 years ago, you had talked about
20 orbits ago.
oh, yep. You had talked about how the energy, you were perceiving our energy as you do, periodically. And
Yes.
you had talked about there would be a collapse, I think it was that word, something like that, of several systems. And I know one was financial, one was the church. But I think there was a third one, and I don't know if it was insurance or what. And of course, they're all coming to be.
Yes.
All the, for sure financial and for sure the
Yes, the
church.
third was some of your political system.
Political. Okay, so it wasn't insurance, because I thought, well, that would make sense too.
Well, I am not leaving that out.
Yeah, okay. Okay. So where, and I know the 2012, I understand that concept, but what, we're all used to, stocks, bonds, blah, 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 as far as investments.
What kind of investment is blah, blah, blah?
Everything else,
Oh, all
gold,
right. Yes.
What is it going to be like in 10 years or 20 years or however you perceive us at this point for
We
that
will
type of
simply
thing?
give you the idea of what you would call the end result of the transformation rather than a blow by blow.
Okay.
The idea is that eventually, somewhere by and before 50 to 100 of your years from now, you will find that your entire economic system will actually be based on the abilities of the people themselves and will be organized by an organization that simply serves to allow skills to go where they are needed. Thus then simply a flow chart more than a government.
Okay. To me, that relates to sort of like the internet has been. I mean,
It
all of a
is the
sudden-
beginning of the ability to implement those kinds of systems.
Okay. Because all of a sudden there was information and who
Yes.
knows where it came from.
That will expand within the next 5 to 10 years technologically.
Okay. Okay, good. And a lady back there wanted me to ask you,
A lady back.
she wasn't going to be able to ask a question, so she was sneaking up and saying, can you expand on where you are above Sedona right now with your spaceship?
We are approximately 20... one moment. One moment. All right. We will say 2,500 of your miles up, but there will be more about this in the transmission that we have already referred to, where we will be demonstrating specifically how our energy is dispersed through the Sedona vortex to the other vortices of your planet. There will be more detailed information of the reason for our position and data in alignment with this idea at that time.
Are you going to be wherever you are right now for a while?
This is not relevant to our time frame.
Oh, that's true.
For even though it may appear to you that my ship is stationary above your city, I can come and go. You would never notice that I have.
Right. Hi to all of the whatever 500,000 or whatever you said are Essasanis.
In excess of 200 million.
200 million. Hi to all 200 million.
Done.
Thank you. Bye.
Hello, Bashar.
And a you good day.
Okay, well, it's kind of hot spot for me for
Hot
a while.
spot.
Yes, and so I believe whenever I come to something like that, it's hard to receive from inside.
Why?
Because so much resistance within me.
From what?
Should I go ahead and talk about what I'm wanted to talk about? That's what you're
You
asking now?
decide which is more important.
Okay. No, I'm going to go ahead. What is
right.
happening right now is that within the past 3.5 years, I've been through 5 jobs, and I was terminated from the 5 jobs.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And
It is
even-
always very interesting when individuals on your planet create realities that push them away from what they really don't want to do.
But, you know, I believe in myself as
Yes.
an accountant,
Yes.
and I believe that I'm very good in it.
Yes.
And
Is that your highest joy?
No, it is not.
Then, is there a surprise here?
Well, it's good that you said that, but I believe that I'm going through a path of least resistance.
All right, it's up to you.
Like for an example, right now at the moment, I cannot turn into writing, which I believe for me is the highest.
You
And
cannot at all?
I do believe that it is the highest, but
But why can't you do it at all?
I can.
All right.
I can devote few moments a day.
That's all right.
Okay.
The
Yes.
important thing to understand about acting on your excitement while you are honoring whatever belief system you buy into is that at least give yourself an opportunity to act on your excitement to the best of your ability for as much time as your belief system is willing to allow, at least allow something.
Right.
Then you will begin at whatever rate you are comfortable with to see bit by bit, fast or slow, that what really excites you can eventually support you, but you will only move as fast as you are allowed your belief system to be willing to believe you can.
Okay.
So whatever you wish to hold on to, whatever you wish to honor of the belief system that says you can't, you will keep in place, and that will determine the rate at which the thing that excites you is capable of showing you that it can support you. And when it shows you a little bit that it can, perhaps you will relax the belief system and allow it to show you that it can do so even more so. But that rate is completely up to you. Now, you could do it immediately, but if you don't believe you can, then you can't.
Yes, I don't believe I can.
Then you
right
can't.
now.
But do something.
Right.
You do have the time to do something.
And I do something. And
All right.
you know, Bashar, I believe that I'm abundant today.
Yes.
And I'm happy and joyful
All right.
most of the times.
Thank you.
And even while I'm studying a very intense subject that I'm studying right now and filling
Yes.
out my time with,
Yes.
I am very happy and content.
All
very,
right.
very happy. But however,
Yes.
when I go back to a new employer,
Yes.
I always see the same pattern again.
Well,
which
of
is
course.
Basically, they are very mean, they are
Yes.
yelling, they are...
Again,
Okay.
please understand.
Okay.
What you are showing yourself by creating realities that push you away is that you can actually do more than you think in the direction of your excitement. You are closing the doors so you will not be able to go back in the direction you don't want to go. And that in and of itself is a sign that your excitement can support you more than you think. You must see it as a sign. The negative can sometimes show you more clearly what the positive is.
So it doesn't have to do anything with this life, my childhood or anything that I can release.
Those factors
These
may
are-
come in to help create the ability to set these scenarios up.
Okay.
But they are not the causation in the way that you're implying. The causation is the idea that you know these things are not what you want, so you are creating an attraction to people who will, in no uncertain terms, tell you, you don't want this, Because if you stick here, we're going to make this a living hell to prove to you you don't want it.
And they do, yes.
So you're doing this to yourself to
Right.
prove to yourself that that's not the path for you, and to prove to yourself that because it's not the path for you, you actually are more capable than you've been allowed to believe, that what excites you can actually support you more than you think. So you are giving yourself the sign, and however long you want to beat yourself over the head with it is up to you.
What do you suggest for my
Well,
highest joy?
you must understand the paradox here, the
Okay.
irony here.
The belief.
The irony here
Okay.
is that you are your own worst boss. You're not treating yourself any better than they are. You're the boss of your reality, yet you subject yourself to these things that you know you don't want. So
Because-
who is the worst boss? Them or you? Because you keep subjecting yourself to them. So be a better boss to yourself.
Well, I fully understand that in a way, but I
Oh,
do I do think I don't.
Listen to the sentence. I fully understand it in a way.
Okay,
In a way means I don't fully understand it.
let me explain. I do believe that
Yes.
I should be doing what is my highest good
Then
every
do
moment.
it.
However,
Yes.
when I've done this before in my
You
life,
haven't
no, I
done
don't.
it. You haven't
Well-
done it. Because what you're telling us right now is that this is the energy in which you did it, which means you didn't actually really do it because you did it out of fear, which is not the real energy of your joy. So you didn't really do it because you didn't let go of the fear of doing it. And that's not really doing it. Make sense?
It does make sense.
Let it be obvious. This is what many of you need to understand, is that if you really just look at it in an obvious way, it will be obvious. You cannot say, I did it, but then find that you're still saying the things that you're saying. It becomes obvious that you didn't really do it if you're still talking the way you're talking about being afraid of doing it. That means, by definition, you didn't really do it.
Well, I can tell you, Bashar, that I've never been as in the moment and as happy as I am today. So probably if I do anything today,
Yes.
I'll be doing it from the point of love and
A high
passion.
degree of probability,
Of
yes. So our
probability.
suggestion would be
Then-
that you remain in that state and do it from that state.
From the state.
Yes.
And so so maybe the best thing for me right now is start to apply, schedule my time when I'm very busy right now. There's a schedule part of the time to be devoted to these things that I love to do.
Start there. But when you do them fully, without reservation, without hesitation, in full knowledge that they are reflective of your excitement, and without the idea of resisting whatever happens
Yes.
when you do them. Because synchronicity will present you with opportunities when you do that. If you do it fully, synchronicity will present you with doorways and opportunities that you must then act upon in order to show yourself that you actually do believe you're doing it fully. Because if you hesitate, you're not doing it. Make sense? So if you do it at all, and your reality gives you an opportunity to do it even more, if you don't act on it, you're not doing it. You have to trust what your reality and synchronicity brings you when you do act on it.
Well, all I know, Bashar, is that when I'm writing, I just flowing energy.
You're
There's
channeling.
no resistance
You're
at all.
channeling.
I am channeling.
Then
Exactly.
channel. And if that's the state you prefer, stay in it as long as you prefer
And I
to.
love it.
All right, but
And I
just
love it.
remember that if that state changes, it's because you chose it to, not because it just happened. It's totally in your control. All right?
So just doing that, forgetting about all these patterns and all this few
Yes.
past years, just keep doing the next thing.
Yes, yes.
And that's it. for
That's
that.
it. And again,
That's simple.
it is that simple. But if you have a belief system that says it's not, then you have to honor your belief system. But you have to know that that simply comes from your belief system and that that can change.
Okay?
So it's up to you. Totally in your hands.
Okay.
Thank
well,
you.
Thank you very much. Can I ask one more quick one?
That was a question.
Okay. Well, I like the gentleman who told you, who asked you to tell him something to think about the next 6 to 12 months.
Yes.
And I would like to ask you that.
You may ask all you want.
I would like to ask that.
I know, but I've already told you what you need to know.
Okay. Thank
Follow
you very
your
much.
joy.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Okay.
Bashar, we have a little more time. Can we pick some more names?
3.
Maya. Chris C. Hiroko.
Hello, Bashar.
Oh, I just said you could pick some names. I didn't say I would talk to the people. Oh, all right, I am joking. Good day.
How are you? Extremely excited to be here. I'm very nervous.
Those are two different energies.
So my question is that I read many books about lifespans here on this planet.
Lifespan.
So let's say, not Essenes, but the Essenes that lived 200 to 300 years old. Is that what's going to happen to us as we go through this change?
The more you live in the moment, the less time you create. Thus, then, that is experienced in your reality as living longer. Because you are not creating as much time, therefore you are not aging as much.
Wonderful.
When you do what you love to do, and you feel like only 1/2 hour has passed, and then you look up and it seems as if 3 hours have passed, you have only aged half an hour. Whatever you feel has passed is what you've aged. So the more you live in the moment, the less you age, the longer you live.
So is that why I feel that I'm more 20 years old than 57?
Yes. But this will become more and more and more pronounced. It isn't that your humans won't continue to mature, but in time you will find that your lifespans will continue to increase as they are increasing now. And within the idea of the next 100 years, you will find that a 300-year lifespan will not be uncommon.
Wonderful. And one more question.
Now, there are individuals, and I will not go into who they are exactly. There are already individuals here and there on your planet, most of them residing in indigenous cultures, who are well in excess of that age already.
Existing right now on our
Existing right now.
planet. Wow.
The oldest living individual on your planet right now is approximately 1,025.
Wow.
This is rare, nevertheless, they exist.
Well, that's pretty exciting.
All right.
My next question would be dream time. I've heard you say that we go out and we learn at night and we go to...
It is one of the things you can do, yes.
Right. And I know that I have many times.
Yes.
Now, my question is that I have an attachment to the Essenes, so have I been on your ship?
Do you mean the Sasani?
It's Essenes, I'm sorry.
The Sasani. Sasani is the planet. Sasani are the people.
Sasanis.
Yes.
So I have been learning on your ship.
Sometimes, not always.
Thank you. And I'd like to, I know that I do it during dream time, but what about doing it consciously
In time,
in time?
this may be possible or probable.
Soon? Can I?
Relative to when?
Tomorrow, tonight?
Well, in the span of your entire history, yes, it will be soon.
Thank you, Bashar.
Thank you. See you soon.
Hello.
And to you, good day.
Can you tell me how to increase my intelligence and my ability to do your mental exercises with greater detail and intricacy?
Yes. by not needing to. The idea is that every single ritual, as we have said, every single tool, every single process is simply what we refer to as a permission slip. It is like giving yourself permission to be more of who you are. The things themselves don't do anything. They simply align with your belief system about what's possible for you or probable for you. And so anything you are attracted to, anything your imagination is attracted to come up with as a ritual, as a tool, as a process, will work for you because your imagination is specifically keyed to your frequency. So whatever you find yourself attracted to do will work best for you at that moment. In the next moment, you may find yourself attracted to something else. And if that is the case, then that will work best for you at that moment. This is combined with the idea of always acting on your highest joy, because that is the highest frequency of your natural being. And when you stay in that state by always acting on your highest joy every minute that you can with integrity and without expectation, and also realize that every single thing you attract yourself to is simply a permission slip or an opportunity to give yourself more permission to be who you are, and you simply move forward in that understanding, then all the intelligence and focus you need will be at hand for whatever you attract into your life, and it will come in whatever form befits the idea of how your intelligence chooses to focus itself. And that will be all that you need at that moment. The reality will design itself to meet how it is you best interact with it. You do not need to adapt yourself to the reality. Make sense?
Okay, yes.
Does that help?
It does.
And
I'm wondering about psychedelics. Is the psychedelic experience similar to the experience of beings in higher dimensions?
It can be. It depends upon the natural substance produced by your planet, if in fact it is produced by your planet. The idea thus then is that the ones that grow naturally, the ones that exist naturally on your planet, are for certain purposes of expanding your ability to see into other dimensions and to recall those kinds of connections. You don't need them as often as many of you think. The idea is that once you have attained the frequency, once you are familiar with the frequency state, you can simply recreate that state at will. But they are guides sometimes that can help you find that state. The one that actually most naturally resonates with your biology and your brain is what you call dimethyltryptamine, which is DMT, which is produced by your pineal gland. And between 3 a.m. and 4 a.m. in the morning, it produces the highest quantity that allows you to experience other dimensions and communications with other beings in higher planes.
So would that be like ayahuasca or smoking dimethyl?
DMT is not ayahuasca. Ayahuasca is something else altogether that involves a very specific branch of frequency of elemental consciousnesses and is for a very specific kind of tutelage.
So are you referring to smoked dimethyltryptamine or injected?
Either. But again, the idea is that you produce it naturally. And once you have understood what the vibration of the state is, you can simply accelerate the production in your pineal gland by yourself.
Using my imagination? You just
Absolutely. All you have to do is recall the feeling of that state, and your pineal gland will follow suit.
It's difficult to recall. It's like a dream. Waking up from a dream?
It is not difficult to recall if you do not believe that it is difficult to recall.
All right.
So why not allow yourself to believe that it is easy to recall so that you can actually have that experience of easy recall?
I'll try that.
You will what?
I'll try that.
You will what?
I'll do that.
Thank you. Remember, we are selectively deaf to vibrations that are not of our reality.
All right. One last thing. I've been experiencing that what I imagine excites me. When I take action on it, I find my excitement deflated. Or disappearing. Because I seem to...
Because you have expectations?
Yes.
What did we say about acting on your excitement?
Do not have expectations.
Thank you.
So...
If you have no expectations of what kind of fruition something is supposed to come to, you will never be disappointed. Because the state itself is the point. And that's it. The state itself is the point.
The activity associated with excitement is irrelevant.
It's not irrelevant. It is an expression of the state. But it comes with no expectation, because if you truly live in a state of excitement, then no matter what happens, you'll be excited because you know it's a part of your journey and not an interruption in it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Pleasant dreams.
I would like to ask about...
Oh, good day.
Good day.
Thank you.
I would like to ask a question about year 2012.
Yes.
I heard oil spill in the Gulf of Mexico is also related to the human consciousness.
Well, of
such
course
as
it is.
Anger.
Everything that happens on your planet is related to human consciousness.
Okay.
By definition.
Okay. Then how about the global warmth? Is that related
Global
to...
warming is a natural cycle that has been slightly exacerbated by human intervention.
I see. And I remember that in the first Bashar book, published in 27 years ago, and it was mentioned that there is a lady who communicates with somebody out in outer space through white beam. And the lady was contacting and communicating with the doctor, and they traveled all over the world to correct the energy.
And so?
But doctor passed away in 92.
Yes.
And then they
And so?
quit correcting energy on Earth.
But there are many, many, many beings helping with the balancing of energy on your planet, including ourselves. That's why my ship is above Sedona, to act as a balancing influence on the energy of your planet through this transformational age, along with many other beings.
I see. So I am also afraid of the movie about year 2012.
Why are you afraid? It is now up on the screen, out of your system.
True.
Can you not see it in a positive light as getting it out of your system and putting it in a movie so you don't have to experience it in real life?
Oh, okay. Yay! Thank
You see, it's very healthy to make an entertainment out of your fears, because then you can deal with it in a manner that allows you to integrate the idea and decide whether or not you actually wish to experience that. Because sometimes when you simply put it out in front of you, as in a movie, you go, nah. That's not what I prefer. That was entertaining, but that's not really what I prefer.
Okay.
Does that help you?
Yes, it did.
Thank you.
Thank you. But on the other hand, some people say that that could be year 2000.
Stop. Again, pay attention. Every possible parallel Earth reality will happen. The only question is, which one will you be on? That's the only question. They will all happen. Which one will you be on? If you have a lot of fear, that tells you which one you'll be on. Let go of your fear. It isn't what you prefer for yourself or for the reality experience you wish. You follow?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
At this time, we will once again extend to each and every one of you and all of you together our deepest appreciation at the co-creation of this contact between our worlds and the creation of a new third reality in which we can more and more every day in every way interact as family. Our unconditional love to you all. Good day. How did it go? Yeah?